Welcome back into Momentous Struggle. Today I'm going to be breaking down the strike force I am interested in playing that revolves around the Jedi Hunter box and the Inquisitor archetype. What I really like about these guys is a lot of the displacement that they offer and some of the different abilities that they have. So I'm going to try and build a team that accentuates and takes into account a lot of those different abilities and tries to work with some of the synergies there. This is going to be the Inquisitor Strike Force team that I'm looking forward to playing. Let's jump into it. So starting out, of course, we got to start with the Inquisitor that we are most looking forward to playing. And since we're starting with the Jedi Hunter box, it's only fitting to start with the Grand Inquisitor, Fallen Jedi. I think he's a pretty solid character. I'm really excited to build around him. So let's go ahead and take a look at the different abilities that he is bringing to the table. So the Grand Inquisitor is pretty much on par for what we've seen for most of the primary units up until this point in time, save a few of the 7 squad point cost ones out there. But as far as his stat lines are concerned anyway, so he is an 8 squad point primary with 3 force, 9 stamina, 3 durability. And as I said, he is a primary unit. He does have the tags of Force User, Galactic Empire, and Inquisitorious. He is the dual era character, which is similar to what we've seen with the Vader and Kenobi models that are in the You Can Outrun box. So there's going to be some crossover here that you can utilize for both of the characters in this particular, or all of the models and characters in this particular box. So the biggest things when we're looking at the Grand Inquisitors, and I'm not really looking at the box review and going through all of the abilities here, but what the synergies are here. So you know who we are is a great ability for the Inquisitor archetype here, because a lot of what they're trying to do is the displacement and point control, objective control. So this is basically going to help with that because you get that out of activation movement, where at the start of his activation you can move a secondary or supporting Inquisitorious unit. You can have them dash. So not a movement action, but they can go ahead and dash. So I do like that because you really do want to have your Inquisitors in specific locations so that you can utilize the displacement that they have on their ability cards. And that's the big key here, is that you're taking advantage of those particular abilities as they, and this is a good way to do it because you always need to make sure you're in the proper distance. For example, like a force push, you have to be within a certain range. With some of the abilities that the supporting units have, there are specific ranges, so you definitely want to make sure that you're going to be able to get into that range. The Inquisitor as well, the Grand Inquisitor, I like his innate ability as well, which is clearly your poor student. And basically what that is when an allied Inquisitor, so any of the Inquisitors that you bring, wounds an enemy character after the effect resolves, you can heal to, and also if it's a Force user taking out of, you can refresh to Force. So they are very Force hungry, all of the Inquisitors. So this is very important that you're using your Inquisitors to take out Force users, or at least to wound your Force users, so that you can get that Force refresh that you're really going to probably need as the game goes on. But that's what the big takeaways I have for the Grand Inquisitor and why I like having him in here. So that was the Grand Inquisitor, and that's, like I said, very fitting and understandable why we're going to be bringing him into the fold here. He's definitely the leader of this archetype, being the Grand Inquisitor that he is. So the second one, of course, I'm following in the trend of wanting to have as many Inquisitors as possible. We're going to be looking at bringing in Reva, the third sister. I really do like her. She has some unique synergies that do take a little bit of work, I think, but I do like what she's bringing to the table. So let's take a look at Reva here. So here we have Reva, the third sister. Again, she does bring some unique abilities here, and one of them is going to be in 2 parts and will come into play when we look at our supporting units as well. But she has 4 squad points, 0 force, 8 stamina, 2 durability, a secondary unit with Force User, Galactic Empire, and Inquisitorious as her tags. Call to the Hunt is a very unique ability that I like. Well, not unique. It's something that we see quite a bit with that out of activation, movement, or attack, which if you've listened to any of my videos, you know that I really do think that that is a key part of this game is getting those out of activation attacks and movement. So this one allows for a supporting Inquisitorious unit within range 4 to either move or attack. So I definitely like that. Again, getting your Inquisitors into positions to take full advantage of the displacement that they have. The other two are pretty, her jump and deflect are pretty on par from everything that we've seen from other abilities. Are nothing new there. The last reactive ability that she does have, though, is your fear betrays you. That does cost a force as well. So again, getting into this force hungriness that these characters definitely do have. This one is nice though, but when a character in this unit makes a melee attack as part of a combat action, before dice are rolled, it may use this ability, and basically you're allowed to remove one or more conditions from the defending character, and add 2 dice to your attack for each condition that was removed. And this really helps her to get all the way down her chart. She's only rolling 7 attack dice. If you want to get all the way down her chart, it's a total of 5. So you're probably wanting to roll more than 7 dice, and there is a way that you can pretty much ensure that this goes off every time, and that's by utilizing some of the synergies that Reva has with the supporting units. So I'll go ahead and jump into our supporting units for Reva, but that's really just about what she has to offer. So that's Reva. So that's the first 2 pieces of our squad for our squad 1 for our strike force. So we do want to finish that squad up with a supporting unit, and obviously I'm going to be bringing one of the supporting Inquisitors. So I'm going to bring the one that I like most to start with here, and of course that is, as anybody who has again watched my stuff or listened to the podcast knows, it's the 5th brother. I totally love this guy. I like a lot of what he brings to the table. I think especially as a supporting unit, he really has a lot of amazing abilities as a supporting unit. But let's go ahead and jump into his card and take a look at why he's so good and how he's going to synergize with this particular team. So here he is. Here's 5th brother. 4 squad points, no force, 9 stamina, 2 durability. So as far as the supporting units go, that's a pretty good stat line. He does have Force User, Galactic Empire, and Inquisitorious as his tags. The reason I really like him, he plays into this displacement strategy that I think kind of fits with what Inquisitors are trying to do with his Force Repulse. So that does cost 2 force. It is pricey. It does not come up. It does come up on his stance tree, which is very important because if you can get 4 down his stance tree, you're able to play this ability for free, and then you can choose a character in this unit, which obviously is him, and he pushes each other character within range 2 of him away 2. So a good displacement pushes everybody off of a objective if you are trying to control an objective. He does have his normal force jump as an active ability as well. So if you are just trying to move him into a different position off of that stance tree, you can do so as well. But going into the synergies with that Reva ability that we were looking at before with removing conditions to add dice, that comes into play with Enfeeble. That basically what that is when another Allied Inquisitor unit makes an attack, before the dice are rolled, if that character is within range 4, he gives that targeted character expose. So he's putting a condition on before dice are rolled. So if you stack these triggers correctly, you put this expose onto the character. You can remove it if you want to end up rolling 2 additional dice. So it's a really interesting interaction between the supporting units and Reva, where they basically help her get 2 dice. Keep in mind you can only use 1 reactive ability per triggering event, so there's going to be an issue with that as well. But there is some synergies there too. So you might need to put the condition on first and then go ahead and make the attack. But again, there's a lot of different synergies here. I do like Resolve as well. because it gives protection and steadfast, gives him a little bit of durability, and helps him stay on those points that he's pushing people off of. And then the Inquisitorial Mandate is really nice because it basically gives the tiebreaker to the Inquisitors if they are contesting an objective. So I do like a lot of what he has to offer with all of that. And that kind of wraps up what we're looking at for our first squad of our strike force. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the second squad of the strike force and who I'm planning on bringing there. So as I said, this kind of wraps up the first squad and of our all Inquisitors squad, basically, uh, looking into building into those synergies of the Inquisitors. But like I said, we don't have enough Inquisitors to go a full squad or full strike force of all Inquisitors. So I'm kind of going to lean a little bit more into the displacement, and also a way to help offset some of the force hungriness that we see from the Inquisitors. So going off of that idea, I'm going to bring somebody different that maybe people weren't expecting for my primary for squad number 2. That's Lord Maul. And let me go ahead and I'll jump into why I wanted to bring Maul. I do like Vader. He's definitely a beater. He doesn't have a lot of synergies though with Inquisitors, but he does. He is an excellent character. But this is more along the lines. I guess I'm building this squad based off of the parameters or the idea that maybe you're not going to spend the $90 to buy the You Cannot Run box. So not everyone is super excited about that. So here's a different option to build Inquisitors without using Vader. So let's jump into why I like him though. So here's Lord Maul. 8 squad points, 3 force, 11 stamina. One of the primary reasons I wanted to bring him because as you can see, as you probably already can guess, I wanted to bring the third Inquisitor as well, supporting or the second supporting unit Inquisitor. You can't do that with Vader because of his 7 squad points. So we'll jump into her and some of her synergies later. But he does have that 3 force, 11 stamina, 2 durability. Dothamarian Force user, Scoundrel, Shadow Collective as his tags. Clone Wars era. So basically, I have to have everyone with Clone Wars with him. Luckily, that's not too difficult with Inquisitors. But the biggest reason I'm wanting to bring him is he is a primary that can be a beater, just in a similar vein as Vader, but I don't have to worry about the force that he is going to be consuming in order to use all of his abilities because of his sustained by rage ability where he can take damage in order to use his force abilities, and then on top of that, for every 3 damage he gets, he adds a dice to his attack roll to help him get all the way down that chart, because he does go 6 down his chart one way. He can potentially go 6 down his chart on both of his sides of his stance card. So that's really what I'm looking at. I just wanted a nice beater to add to the team that wasn't going to tax the force use that we are going to be needing in order to do a lot of this different shenanigans that the Inquisitors do with their displacement. So that's a big reason why I wanted to bring Maul instead of somebody else. So let's go ahead and jump into who I'm going to be bringing as the supporting unit along with Maul. So I wanted to bring a supporting unit that was going to play into the displacement strategy that I'm kind of trying to lean into with the Inquisitors. So based off of that, I wanted to bring Jango Fett Bounty Hunter because of some of the cool displacement shenanigans that he has, as well as some of just the raw abilities that he has. I do like Jango quite a bit. And let's kind of look at his abilities and why I think he fits into this team pretty well. So here we have Jango Fett, about the bounty hunter that he is. 4 squad points, no force, 9 stamina, 2 durability. He is a secondary unit. He doesn't have any tags that are really prevalent, that have any bearing on this particular squad with the bounty hunter, mercenary, scoundrels, and separatist alliance. But he is Clone Wars era, so he does fit into the thing that we're looking for as far as the squad eras that we're looking for. A couple of things that synergize well with what we're trying to do. He has Capture Wire, which is displacement character within range 3. He pulls them range 2. Then that character gets pinned. So not only does he move them, but he actually pins them in place as well. So really good displacement and condition, which again pairs well with Riva's ability of removing that condition to roll 2 extra dice. So a little bit of synergy there with Riva. I mean, a lot of people, I think that one of the biggest things they like about Django is his not so fast ability, where you just get to roll 5 dice and potentially do up to 5 damage. Typically, it's usually about 2, but you do have the potential to spike quite a bit of damage into a character by rolling those dice with his not so fast ability. But again, one of the big things that I was saying from the start is the Inquisitors are very force hungry, and his innate ability of I'm just looking to get paid can help offset that. Where if he wounds a primary or secondary unit, regardless of whether they are what tags they have, so they don't have to be Galactic Republic or anything along those lines. When he does that, you refresh 2 force, and then he can go ahead and heal 2. So I like that he is able to take out somebody and get you some force back, especially because you're going to need it with these Inquisitors. So that's why I like Django in this build. I think he kind of adds a lot of things that you are needing for the Inquisitors to be successful. And lastly, we're going to take a look at just filling out our last squad. Like I said, it's pretty obvious which way I'm wanting to go with this. I wanted to use as many Inquisitors as possible. Since I'm not taking Vader, I'm definitely going to be taking Fourth Sister into the mix here. She does have that Inquisitor tag and brings a little bit of synergy that we're really looking to take advantage of here. So let's jump into our last character, Fourth Sister. So finishing out our strike force here for our Inquisitors is going to be Fourth Sister. Um, Again, falling into that, she has that 4 squad points, 8 stamina, 2 durability, has those Force User, Galactic Empire, and Inquisitorious tags. And of course, the eras of tag and Galactic Civil War are going to be important so that we can go ahead and have her in this particular squad. As far as abilities go, uh, the 2 big ones, well, the 3 big ones that we're looking at are her force pull. She can pull somebody range 3 in towards range 2, similar to basically Django's ability on with a different title. This is also 1 force as well. Again, this is on her stance tree though, so you may be able to activate this for free. She also has her own version of Enfeeble that puts a pin if the targeting character is within range 4 instead of expose. So in most cases, you're probably going to want to expose them instead of pin, but in case you don't want them to move after you've displaced them, you can definitely take that. Inquisitorial Mandate, again, solid ability, helps break the ties, helps control those points, which is those objectives, which is really what this squad is wanting to do. She does have Swift Retreat, though, as well, so when she's wounded, you can go ahead and move her through a reposition. You can move the model through a reposition. So not a move action, but you can reposition her into a better position in the event. So let's say she's wounded, she's tying up and you're wanting to maybe on the next activation have her in a better position. Definitely something that you can take advantage of. So I do like what she brings to the table. Not quite as much as what Fifth Brother does. I think Fifth Brother is the more superior of these 2 supporting units, but her Enfeeble, her Inquisitorial Mandate are both very solid. The Displacement with Force Pull is also very good, and you can potentially get that on her tree for free. Going to be kind of difficult. You need 4 successes on the tree in order to get there. She's only rolling 7 dice, but it is possible. So that she does provide some pretty solid stuff there. But that's the strike force there. Let's go ahead and wrap up this video, and then we'll see what we got there. So here's one last look at the strike force that I am looking at wanting to play under the Inquisitor ideals here. Basically, Grand Inquisitor, Reva Third Sister, Fifth Brother as squad number 1, Maul with Django, and Fourth Sister for squad number 2 to wrap up that squad, that whole total squad. A lot of displacement, a pretty good beater with Maul. A lot of objective controlling type of game plan that you're looking at playing with this team. So I really do like them as something different, something unique that we haven't quite seen yet. But as always, I do always want to thank each and every one of you for listening and tuning in today. Hit that like button, subscribe, ring that bell so that you know anytime a new video comes up. I do appreciate any support that you can give, and that is definitely the best way to support the channel. Again, thank you very much for everything that you guys do, for all the support you do give. And one last time, may the force be with you.